Senator Matt Canavan, future Senator Sam Crosby, that's the way it should be. They're joining us now here for a ding-dong about everything around today. So I'm going to start with you, Sam. Help me out about what the talking point is here about Peter Dutton and immigration cutbacks, okay? So when the federal government promises to halve its own immigration number, fine for the economy, when Peter Dutton promises to go a little bit further, that'll destroy the economy. How does it work?
But he's already banked the half, and then this is further on that. Yeah. Look, that's not the point. That's not.
But that's Chalmers' talking point.
And I got to give full points to Peter Dutton for knocking the government off message. You know, within 48 hours or 72 hours with their budget. You know, it's not easy in opposition to do that.
The budget didn't last a week.
Quite genuinely, that was impressive. I have to say though, I think it's an overly simplistic message that I think will resonate immediately with people, and people say, yeah, that is a good point. And then they'll think about it a little bit more, and the realisation will kick in. I mean, for God's sakes, if it was seriously this simple to solve housing problems, to solve congestion, to solve everything else, you don't think Labor would do this?
But the reason they don't is because of the Ponzi scheme that is more population equals more taxpayers equals, we're in surplus.
Well, no, I mean,
the skills. Dutton's not saying no to immigration. Dutton's saying no, like we're going to bring it down a bit more. So you've still got 100,000 skilled workers coming in.
But you still need more, right? We still have thousands upon thousands of unmet need in the thing. But what about family resolution? So in the last government, the family reunification wait time was about 30 years.
I'll be honest, fine by me.
Dude, come on.
I think family reunion, people take the piss.
No, sorry. I had a guy that I used to work with.
You come here because you've got skills, and then we'll bring everyone else out.
I had a guy who used to work with Vinnie's. His mum was in France. He immigrated here 20 years ago. He's an only child. He wanted to bring her over. Couldn't. Just flat out couldn't. He was like very well paid in a former career, had all the money in the world to support his. He wasn't asking for anything of that. Couldn't. 30-year wait list. I mean, come on, it's just not right to not be able to bring your mum over or your dad over.
What? And then Medicare and then aged care on top of all of that. That's why I have my issue.
No. So increase the amount that you need to be able to support them. I mean, there are ways around this that we can still have.
Financially no drain whatsoever, then we can start a chat.
Sure, but but that's not what Peter Dutton's saying. Peter Dutton's saying 25% cut, boom. 1 in 4, boom. You're done.
And you know...
But hold on, but he's also not saying where the number's going to come from, is he? He hasn't said, family reunification, that's gone. Skilled migrant, that's gone.
Fair.
Fill the details out for me a little bit, and then we can have more of a conversation.
But Senator, I thought he did put some categorisation on it, but get into it, Senator. Yeah. Fill the gap that I don't know.
Well, he has said we would reduce the refugee intake back to its long-term average of just over 13,000 a year.
Excellent.
The rest will be a cut to the broader permanent migration rate. I mean, the key difference now between the government and the opposition is the government's just saying we'll reduce the flow into the country, the net overseas migration. We'll, of course, do that as well. But what we'd also do is reduce the number of people transitioning from a visa through to permanent migration. That means some people will go home. And so that will add ease. That will add additional ease to the housing market here. Now, the simple fact is both parties now agree that migration needs to come back, although Jim Chalmers seems to be off on his own planet, that this is a terrible thing. But the Prime Minister and the opposition leader think that. The key now for the Australian people leading up to the election is who do you trust to do that? The Labor Party, over the past 2 years, have botched the reopening of Australia's border post-COVID. We had to open our border. We'd had taken no one in for over 2 years. But they let the floodgates open and completely lost control of our border. Now, once the horse has bolted, they're saying, look, trust us, we'll close it now. Well, I don't think that the Australian people are going to put a lot of trust and faith in the very mob who have lost control of the border to start with. So we definitely need to do this now, and it's just a matter of trust. Who do you trust? Peter Dutton, who was a very strong migration minister, understands the system. I think it's time he gets put in charge of our border so we fix this up and alleviate some of the stresses that are occurring in our housing markets and on infrastructure in our major cities across Australia.
Yeah, again, could we just play the Jim Chalmers grab? Again, right, so when his government's pulling back, it's not the end of the world. When the Liberal Party plans to go a little bit further, it's the end of times. Have a look.
If you think about the relationship between migration and housing, for example, of the less than 5,000 homes purchased by foreigners in the most recent data, around 1,300 of them were established homes. And so this will make nowhere near the difference that he is claiming that it will, and that's because he hasn't thought it through. His budget reply was dark, it was divisive, intentionally so, and the net effect of all of that would be that he would destroy the budget and damage the economy.
But when you're doing, please, I actually think that one of the reasons why you've not heard Labor responding to the other shoe to drop when it comes to the housing market, which was to ban foreign buyers, is they don't know how to respond to it, right? $6.6 billion worth of foreign investment was made into the Australian property market, not the commercial market, that's the residential market, all right? You know, if there's a house worth $1 million, you can imagine how many houses here, right? That was just in 1 year alone. I think that, to me, is the one that's actually going to move potential voting needles and the conversations of people nodding their heads around a barbecue. But Sam, what do you think?
Look, I think it's actually an idea that's worth exploring. I do. I don't think governments should be so resistant to reject all ideas from the opposition simply because it comes from the opposition. I mean, look, frankly, I think the easier place to start on that are countries that don't allow Australians to buy
reciprocal rights.
Reciprocal rights.
Fair point.
So, you know, if you can buy property in America, then sure, the Americans can.
But we can't in China. We can't in Japan.
If there's other countries, then, well, no, you shouldn't be able to buy it here if our citizens can't go to your country and buy one there. Yeah. But I think it's an idea worth exploring.